Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is a 980th Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I put onto YouTube. I can't believe that we've got to 980 battle videos. So what I wanted to do for our 980th was something a little bit special, and this is a first for our channel. This is what we call a themed battle. Okay, this is Carthage against Rome. Okay, Carthage has got 31k. Rome has got 29k to build the army with. Okay, so as I say, for our 980th, I wanted to do something a little bit special. So as I say, this is a first for our channel, a themed battle of Carthage against Rome, and what a cracker this turned out to be. Okay, our first teammate is Brotherhood member Spitfyr. Now Spitfyr's got 14 Sacred Band Spearmen, 4 Slingers, 1 Horse Archer and 1 Cavalry. Okay, if we have a look at the upgrades on his Sacred Band Spearmen, you'll see that I think the vast majority have got 8 upgrades on, 2 Experience Stripes, Gold Shield, Gold Attack. We know Sacred Band Infantry are pretty tough. You put those upgrades on, that makes them really tough. And he's got a couple with just Gold Shield, Gold Attack on, which I'm presuming will be his Pila Shield units there. Now he's gone for the Balearic Slingers. Okay, he's got 6 upgrades on them, Gold Shield, Gold Attack. Remember, the Balearic Slingers have got a good range and do a lot of damage, and they keep their 40 slingshots in the pouch there on their belt. Remember, Slingers in this game have got 40 slingshots. Archers have just got 30 arrows. Anyway, he's got a horse missile unit there. Okay, it'll be a fast moving unit. He can move around the battlefield. And he's got an armoured cavalry general unit there, which I'm guessing he's going to use for trying to hit enemy archers. So that's a pretty good Carthage army there by Spitfyr. Our next teammate is Brotherhood member, GoTW Romex. Now he's got 14 Sacred Band units, 4 Slingers and 1 Cavalry. Okay, look at the upgrades on his Sacred Band though. Some of his Sacred Band, count those up, 9 upgrades, 3 Experience Stripes, Gold Shield, Gold Attack, fully upgraded. Okay, so some of his units are fully upgraded, others of his units have just got 8 upgrades on, 2 Experience Stripes, Gold Shield, Gold Attack. Okay, so that's a pretty well upgraded army there. Quick look at his cavalry there. Alright, so that's a fast moving cavalry. Count the upgrades there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, fully upgraded. So that is only a light cavalry unit there, but it is fully upgraded. Very fast moving unit there. So that's Romex's army, and he's gone for the cheaper slingers there. Okay, now these guys probably a very short range, and they, as you can see, they don't wear any armor either. So as I say, he's bought the cheaper slingers so that he can spend more money on his infantry. Okay, our next teammate is Brotherhood member Fesen with his faction of choice, and he's got 15 Sacred Band, a Spearman, 4 Slingers and 1 Cavalry, and he's got 8 upgrades on his Sacred Band units there. Okay, 2 Experience Stripes, Gold Shield, Gold Attack. He has also gone for the cheap Slingers there, but I notice he's put 7 upgrades on them, an Experience Stripe, Gold Shield, Gold Attack there. And I think he's got 1, as I say, 1 cavalry unit there, and that is the armoured cavalry general there, 1 fast moving unit. So that's Fesen's army there, quite an interesting army. And our last teammate is myself, Spartan Commander. Now I've just got 16 Sacred Band Spearmen and 3 Balearic Slingers. Okay, so check out the upgrades on my units there. I've got 8 upgrades on, I think, the vast majority of my spearmen there, and a couple of them I think have got 7 upgrades on, an Experience Stripe, Gold Shield, Gold Attack. I've gone for the long distance Balearic Slingers here, okay, with their 40 slingshots. I thought I'd go for distance there rather than the cheaper ones. Notice no cavalry. I'm just thinking that Carthage cavalry up against Roman Praetorian cavalry, you know, you'd probably just lose that battle there. So there you go. There's our 4 Carthage armies. Do you think we've got much of a chance against Rome? Just have to wait and see. And here is the other team. We have Brotherhood member Tabor. Now Tabor's got 12 infantry, 4 archers and 4 cavalry. Okay, so there's his 4 archers. A quick look at the upgrades on his cavalry. There you go, Gold Shield, Gold Attack. Remember, the Roman team have got 29,000 k to denarii to build their army as well. Carthage has got 31k. Okay, their next teammate is Brotherhood member Lando. Now Lando's got, get ready for this, 16 infantry and 2 cavalry. Yes, 16 infantry and 2 cavalry. So think of the firepower alone, the armor piercing pilots that he can throw into our units before we even get into hand-to-hand fighting there. So make no mistake, that's going to be a formidable army there, weakening us before we even get into hand-to-hand fighting. Okay, their next teammate is Brotherhood member Vidar. Now Vidar has got 12 infantry and 5 cavalry and 2 archers. Okay, so if you have a look there, you'll see gold shield, gold attack, but also if you notice here, he has got 2 eagle units. Okay, you can see 2 eagle units there. Okay, so that's 2 morale boosting units. Okay, he's made his general an eagle unit as well, which is unusual these days. That's kind of old school. Quick look at the upgrades on his cavalry. Gold shield, gold attack on his cavalry. Notice once again wide Roman battle formation there. Okay, so I just thought you can notice that different, isn't it, from the normal more in-depth battle formation. That's because they're fighting spears, and their last teammate is Brotherhood member Mantu. Now Mantu's got 10 infantry, 4 archers and 6 cavalry. Okay, and there you are, it's just got gold shield, gold attack on his cavalry there. And once again, very wide battle formation there. So there's the Roman team. Think of the firepower that they can bring to the battlefield before they even get to hand-to-hand fighting. I just thought we'd have a look at the Carthage battle formations here. Do you notice anything different at all with them? Or is this like, would you say, the normal battle formations that people bring? Quite wide there. You can see both Spitfyr and Romex's Carthage battle formations are quite wide. Have a look at Fesen's battle formation here. I know we've looked at this before, but I just think this is quite interesting. Notice how he's got his forward units double banked there. Very strong. And if the enemy come around the flank, he's got unit to cover a flank attack there on both flanks. And of course, if the enemy get in behind him here, look, then he can just turn those units to face the threat of enemy coming in behind him. So that is a tried and tested Fesen, and there can you see his general right in the middle of his battle formation, well protected. So that is a tried and tested Fesen battle formation there. Okay, and now I'm going to take you back to maybe 2005, and there you are, the old school, old-fashioned, probably out-of-date block formation there that was using back in 2005, 2006. Can it still be effective on the modern-day battlefield? Well, I guess going up against solid Roman armies, it'll be a real test for this old-school battle formation. Should be a great one for you to watch. Right, okay, at this stage of the battle, I thought we would have a cavalry count because this could become very relevant. Okay, so here's the enemy team. 1, 2, 3, 4 there. 4, 5, 6. That's 6 cavalry so far for them. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 there, so 11 and these, so 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Right, so the enemy team have got 17 Praetorian cavalry, elite Praetorian cavalry. Okay, 17 elite cavalry. Now let's have a look at our cavalry. We've got a horse archer unit over there, but we will ignore that. We've got one, there's a horse archer unit there, so we've got 1 cavalry unit there, heavy cavalry unit there. 1, 2, 3, 4. So our team have got 4 cavalry, including 2 light cavalry, and they've got 17 elite Praetorian cavalry. Now, we know that each one of these sacred band units are anti-cavalry, okay? We know that, but would you say that if they use that 17 cavalry advantage effectively and efficiently, that could be battle winning? Because what I'm thinking here is their infantry could pin and hold our sacred band spearmen, okay, and then they get their cavalry in behind and do a hammer and anvil attack. Okay, that's what I'm thinking there. Their infantry pins and holds us, they get their cavalry in behind their 17 cavalry. Okay, at this very, very early stage of the battle, you'll see that obviously the Roman archer auxiliary has got a big advantage over our slingers there, range-wise. As you can see, those, especially these cheap slingers, are going to have to come forward a heck of a lot to get in range of those archers. And of course, those archers will be shooting into them all the time there, as you can see. And those slingers have got to run forward so much that they could well be intercepted by Roman cavalry if they're not careful. There you are, you can see the Scipii cavalry coming forward there. Do you see how far forward they have to run to get in range of those archers? And they're a long way away from their spear you know, cover there, aren't they? But if they run back fast, they may well be able to save themselves there from that Scipii cavalry. If I remember correctly, I think Vidar was very, very aggressive in this battle, and that's who's actually facing Romex there. We know that Lando will be aggressive. We know that he always is. And you can see that that cavalry of Vidar going forward. He was thinking about hitting the slingers there, but then decided to pull back. Okay, as I say, this is a very, very early stage of the battle there, and you can see right from the beginning that it looks to me like both teams are going to be very, very aggressive. And don't forget, Lando's got 16 infantry, so the firepower he can bring down onto us could be quite devastating there. Right, pause the game for a second here. So here you can see Vidar moving in close there. Now what the tactic was for us was to attack quickly, to try and stop them having the full benefit of all their Pilas damaging us. That's what we were thinking there, to be very aggressive ourselves and attack them. Right, can you see here Romex being very, very aggressive here as he throws his spearmen forward there? Did you notice that his spearmen have gone forward using their secondary weapon, the sword? So that the reason he did that is because look, he can run them into the Scipii troops there, and then once he gets in there, he can then put his spears down. Okay, as I say, you can see there that these guys are going to throw Pilas anyway. But remember, units that are engaged, if the Roman team are on auto fire, they won't get hit by Pilas, only if the general actually aims them at units that are engaged. Right, so once again here you can see Fesen. Remember, our tactic was to be very, very aggressive towards Rome right from the start, to try and neutralize a little bit of the Pila advantage they'll have over us. So once again you can see Fesen here running his troops forward, using the secondary weapon, the sword. And as I say, the reason that they're doing that is just to get into the enemy units as fast as they can there, to try and, as I say, stop them throwing their Pilas so effectively into our sacred band spearmen there. And all of a sudden then, once he's engaged, he'll go into the main weapon, which will be the spear. But as I say, that's our tactic here of the Carthage team, is to try and be as aggressive as we can, just to try and neutralize the Pila damage as much as we can there. Once again, look at Romex, that basically committed nearly all his troops there, and you can see Vidar has committed all his troops as well. Really vicious, nasty fighting going on there by both of those armies. Over here on our left flank, you'll see that Mantu's moved his infantry forward, his SPQ infantry forward there, and he, of course, he's facing Spitfyr there on our left flank. Okay, so remember, it's Spitfyr's idea here to have this themed battle, and I think it's a good idea. Here you can see Mantu maybe looking to get cavalry and infantry around the flank of Spitfyr there, while his other infantry units hold and pin him. That's a possibility there. Okay, so here you'll see that Tabor has brought some of his cavalry around here. Remember, the Roman team have 17 cavalry, we have 4. So if they use that cavalry effectively and efficiently, they go bang into those slingers there, like bang, as he charges in there. If they use that 17 cavalry effectively and efficiently, that could really make the difference in this battle. As I say, you can see Fesen there. Now he's got the spears out now. Remember, he charged in with secondary weapon, the sword. Now he's got the spears. Same with Romex. He wanted to get in there fast, so he ran in with the secondary weapon there. But you can see he's lost a lot of men from Pila damage there. already, and this was the fear for us in the Carthage team, was losing so many men to the massive Pila, armor-piercing Pilas of all those Roman troops there. There you can see Fesen has brought some of his troops up here to kind of link up with Romex. And you'll see that I'm moving my army towards the centre there. I'll explain that in a little bit in a minute. But here, once again, you can see Mantu bringing his wide battle formation forward there towards Spitfyr. Okay, can you see I'm moving my Carthaginians towards the centre? I just want to give you a heads up on this. Now, what I'm thinking here is I'm going to attack right in the centre of their battle line there. I'm going to be very aggressive. And what I'm going to try and do is draw in as many enemy troops onto my Carthaginian army as I can. Okay, that's what I'm looking to do. Kind of like try and be the anchor of the team. And of course, the more enemy units I get in coming charging into my army, that could free up space on the battlefield for my allies there. Can you see that Tabor has split his infantry into two armies there? One for the centre, one coming round the flank. Okay. And those archers there, he's going to position them in a very tactical way there, where he can shoot into the flank and rear of our troops. Okay, so remember, the long-range archers can have a massive advantage over us there and can cause us a lot of casualties, hitting us in the rear and the flank, the weakest parts. As I say, here you can see Mantu running forward, and if you notice here, because he's got that wide battle formation, he's got an overlap on Spitfyre's battle formation there, where he can get infantry around the flank or around the rear of Spitfyre's troops there. Okay, so that's why Mantu's got that wide battle formation. And over here, I think Romex has done really well at routed some of Vidar's infantry there, and is still standing his ground really well. Okay, he's lost a lot of troops from Pila's there, but also, here's something you might not have noticed. Mantu's archers here are shooting into the flank of Romex's infantry, and he's called, make no mistake, Mantu has caused Romex a lot of casualties already here, shooting into the rear and flank. Very tactically targeted there with his archers. What do we call it? Archer tactical targeting there by Mantu. But as I say, you can see me moving my Carthaginians forward. And as I say, I want to be aggressive. I want to draw in as many units as I can. And if I hold the centre, then that will free Fesen's units up to move over to the right flank to hold up that secondary army of Tabor's and units of Lando's as well. But there you are. You can see my units moving forward there. And you can see, you might have noticed, I've already deployed some of my units into attacking some of the Scipii infantry there. Okay, and you can see Romex has moved some of his units over to link up with mine. But as I say, this was, you were looking to throw Pilas into us here. This was our main concern about being really damaged by Pilas before we get into hand-to-hand fighting. So that's always a big advantage that Rome has got over the spear and pike factions. Right, pause the game for a second here. Okay, so you can see enemy cavalry there already chasing down some of our slingers there and routing some of our slingers. And as I say, during the course of the battle, the 17 cavalry advantage they've got could run rampant in behind us. Okay, just to give you a heads up on that, that's what could happen here with a big cavalry advantage that we looked at earlier. 17 elite cavalry. Okay, but here you can see some of my units, you can see I've deployed into attacking some of the enemy Scipii troops there. But as I say, my plan here is to try and be as much of a nuisance as I can, try and be an anchor for the team, and try to attract as many enemy units onto my army as I can. And by doing that, hopefully, that will give my team an advantage around other parts of the battlefield. That's what I remember I was thinking at the time. Okay, so you can see there, I think I've deployed 2 lots of 4 of my my army there, attacking enemy troops there. And you can see there's already a lot of enemy troops here in the centre looking at my troops, which is good, which, as I say, that's the plan there, trying to attract as many enemy troops onto my army as I can. Right, here you can see once again the cavalry advantage here. See Vidar smashing his cavalry into a couple of our Carthage units there, hoping that the shock and charge bonus there would rout those units. I think that's what he's hoping. Here, as I say, look at the overlap that Mantu's got with his units, how we can get those units in behind, pin and hold with some units, look, and get other units round behind them to either attack the rear of the pinned and held units or move anywhere else there. And as I say, a Mantu very tactical with his archers, and his archers will be tactically targeting. Okay, make no mistake, he will be tactically targeting there with his archers. Okay, and over here, once again, as I say, the cavalry here, the enemy cavalry running rampant in behind us. I think most of our slingers are killed by the cavalry there, not by enemy archers. The enemy archers are intent on targeting our actual sacred band spearmen there. So here you can see Fesen's able to move all his army onto the right there to hold our right flank while I hold the center. And in a minute you'll see I'm really going to be aggressive with my spearmen there, moving in to, as I say, attract as many enemy troops as I can, and as I say, going to try and be the anchor of our team there if possible. Okay, so you can see there's going to be lots of Pilas thrown in here, or you can see that coming in there. And as I say, just look at the enemy units there. How many of them have still got Pilas, I don't know. They may well have thrown them already, but there you can see elements of my Carthaginians there moving in onto the enemy troops. If you notice here, I'm deploying one unit at a time. Can you see? Just putting them into aimed positions. Now I'm aware that those units could be flanked, and that's why I'm holding those units back to counter any flanking action that's going to come in from the enemy troops. Romex there is holding well. You can see his units have been extremely battle depleted there, mostly probably by Pilas. Pause the game for a second here. Once again, Mantu's cavalry has come around the flank and got in behind there. Spitfyr is trying to counter that with his spearmen, so well done to Spitfyr there. I think to be a good spear or pike general, you need fast reactions and good micromanagement skills to be good with the pike or spear factions there. So this will really test our micromanagement and reactions here. You can see enemy troops trying to hold Spitfyre's troops there. You can see Mantu moving his infantry around the battlefield there. I can see where Romex is so battle damaged there, that could be looked upon by the enemy as maybe a possible breakthrough point. Can you see Mantu's got his infantry there? You've got cavalry and other elements of infantry there as well that may well try and smash through poor old Romex's very battle depleted units there. As I say, Fesen's doing well on holding our right flank there. Okay, and you can see enemy cavalry and infantry here maybe looking to move into the flanks of our engaged troops. Okay, so over here that you can see, as I said, I was expecting flanking action there from the enemy team, so I brought units out to try and counter that flanking attack there. As you see, I've got about 4 units left that I haven't used yet. There, the other unit is one of Romex's missile units, but I'm keeping these units back just you know, to maybe counter any more flanking action that's happening there. Meanwhile, over here, Fesen's doing very well at getting around the flank of the enemy Julii infantry there. Nice tactical move there, but I'm thinking that Tabor is possibly going to pull back and try to draw Fesen's army away from the main battle. I think that's what Tabor may well do. Watch out for that a little bit later on. He may well, as I say, try and draw Fesen away from the main battle. And just look at the enemy cavalry in behind us here. As I said, running rampant. Oh my gosh, that they're smashed into the back of poor old battle depleted Romex, and bang as they smash in there. And more cavalry that come bang as they're really trying to smash through here. As I say, you saw Romex's units were very battle depleted, and as I say here, his general now has been routed, and it looks to me like they may well have smashed a hole in our battle line there. That's where they wanted to attack. They saw Romex units were very battle depleted, and now all these units there could move in on through that gap that's been created by those aggressive charges by the enemy troops there. As I say, Spitfyr is doing very well over on our left flank there, holding up a lot of Mantu's troops there. You'll see that most of my Carthaginians have now been engaged there, and as I say, I'm trying to attract as many enemy troops as I can. That was the aim, and as I say, the more enemy troops are attacking me, the more space is freed up on the battlefield, hopefully for my allies. That's what I'm hoping there. As I say, if you notice there, I'm gradually causing a salient in the main centre there, if you notice that. And as I say, the enemy have got a lot of their units there already attacking my troops. Okay, here you'll see I've sent 2 of my Carthaginian units there to try and take out the Julii general. Okay, so there's the Julii general of Tabor there, and I've sent 2 of my units there to attack that general unit, try and kill the general, take the morale bonus away. But look at all that enemy cavalry in behind us, ready to smash into our engaged troops there. You can see, as I say, I've caused a salient there, which the enemy may well try and nip out if they can. But here you can see, once again, here are, as I said to you earlier, can you see how Tabor here is trying to draw Fesen away, right, from the main battle? Okay, so Tabor with a few units is trying to draw all of Fesen's army away from the main battle there. Nice tactical move there by Tabor. Let's see if Fesen falls for that one. Here you can see Spitfyr, let's say, doing really well against Mantu's infantry. Spitfyr holding extremely well on that left flank and trying to help Romex as well. But you can see there's a gap now between Spitfyr and my units there. Okay, as I say, cavalry in behind us, very dangerous there. And as I say, the cavalry that the enemy have got, the big advantage they've got, they could well, you know, that could well make or break the battle. Now here's a nice move by Romex. Can you see how he's got one of his units turned facing towards the cavalry? Okay, now the reason he's done that, okay, is to defend the rear of my troops that are fighting the enemy infantry there. Okay, and he's got another unit there. Okay, so he's turned those units to try and neutralize any cavalry attack that the enemy might want to throw into the rear of my engaged troops. Okay, so that was a nice bit of teamwork there by Romex, and that should put the cavalry off. As I say there, you can see that salient I've created there, and you can see how many enemy troops are attacking my troops there, which is just what I wanted. As I said right from the beginning of the battle, if I can be the anchor for the team and just hold as many units as I can, that will free up space. Look at these 3 fresh units there, and cavalry as well, ready to move in when the Roman team are ready to move those units in there. But as I say, if you look around the battlefield, look how the enemy cavalry are in behind us now, looking to attack. You can see there's a big gap there that they can move through. Now this is good. You can see Fesen now has decided he's not going to chase the Julii infantry, and he's brought his spearmen back into the fray. As I say, Spitfyr has been doing really well here on our left flank against Mantu. It wouldn't surprise me if Spitfyr got some good kills in this battle, and I think that I'm going to get pretty poor kills because I've been defensive all the way through this battle. Remember, defending troops don't get very good kills. Look at all that cavalry ready to charge in. It's a good job Romex got those couple of units defending my rear, because there was a heck of a lot of enemy cavalry there ready to charge into the rear of my engaged, tired and exhausted spearmen there. Okay, there, look at that Mantu charging his cavalry and look, trying to break through Romex's spearmen there, like a bang, and he's coming through into the rear of my infantry, bang. But his cavalry was so battle depleted and so weak in there, didn't have much of an impact. Bang! There's 2 units of the Scipii cavalry just smashed in there, hoping for the shock and charge bonus to rout some of our troops there. Oh my gosh, and we're still holding. As I say, most of my spearmen are very tired or exhausted, so their morale and battle proficiency will be very, very low. Anyway, we've managed to rout some of Mantu's cavalry there. You can see there, Romex is a spearman facing that those attacking cavalry caused a lot of casualties there. If you look at the dead cavalry, can you see all that dead enemy cavalry there? That's what Romex's units did through facing the cavalry attack. So well done to Romex there. You've got some fresh infantry units looking to come in behind my guys. I'm still managing to hold. As I say, Fesen's brought his army back over here from chasing Tabor, so I'm hoping he's going to get some units in behind the attacking enemy troops. As I say, most of my troops are very tired or exhausted at this stage, and as I said, over on our left flank, Spitfyr has done all the way through the battle there, doing really well on our left flank, and he may well bring these units in to help my army over there. As I say, I think most of my troops at this stage, if I remember correctly, are very tired or exhausted. So as I say, their battle proficiency and their morale will be extremely low, and they could well be ripe for routing. Okay, I just seen we've just routed Mantu's general, so that's good news for us to see the cavalry general there. Oh, we just killed him actually. So the cavalry general has just been taken out there, which is good news. And as I say, you can see my infantry there really still holding, but you can see they're really, look at that cavalry charging there like a bang and bang. You can see the enemy look to me like they're really trying to kill my army now. I think that's what they're really, look how they're pushing all their troops in, very, very aggressive attacks all the way around there. And luckily my allies now are coming in from several directions now to attack the rear of the engaged enemy troops. But make no mistake, my troops, as I say, are very tired or exhausted. And look at that Julii cavalry charging there like a bang as that smashed in there and routed one of my units on impact. As I said, if I got a large, good, that's killed a Scipio general. If I got a large cavalry hit into the rear of my troops, because they're very tired or exhausted, they could mass rout. Okay, that's how poor condition my troops are in at the moment. Exhausted, let's have a look and see. If I remember correctly, exhausted and very tired. They were very tired. Oh, that was just winded. I'm surprised at that. Exhausted there, let's see. And exhausted there. So they're right at the end of their tether there. Luckily, my general's just winded, so he can hold on. But you can see Fesen here coming in from the rear of those engaged Scipio troops. So really well done to him there. Well done there. And over here you can see Spitfyr coming into the rear of the enemy troops as well. And so that's Fesen and Spitfyr. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Romex, most of his units have now been routed there. There I can see Fesen. Look how we're keeping his general back out of the fray. Still giving general morale bonus there. But you can see here that Tabor's archers have been shooting into us all through the battle. Okay, so he's been tactically targeting as well. There. Looks like he could be shooting right into the rear of Fesen's general. There. And as I say, you can see Mantu's archers there. Once again, he has been tactically targeting with his archers into the rear and flank of our troops, causing mayhem there, causing a lot of casualties there with his archers. So as I say, now you can see this is the condensed area of the battlefield now. And still see enemy cavalry there. Can you still see enemy cavalry looking to smash into the rear and flank of our troops? And there's another one of my units just been routed there. Look. Oh my gosh. You can see I've got Scipio infantry all round my units now, if you notice, attacking from the rear and the flanks. But as I say, Fesen's moving his infantry in there to help. There. Spitfyre's coming in. That's a nice cavalry hit there by Spitfyr. But you can see enemy cavalry charging in there as well. Like a bang! Routed another one of my units there. Look, there's more Julii cavalry and infantry here ready to throw in. Oh my gosh. I can see another one of my units has just been routed as well. Okay, so let's just pause the game for a second here. So you can see some of Tabor's Julii infantry coming back into the fray. They were the ones trying to draw Fesen away from the battlefield there, and he's brought those 4 back in there. But if you look at the general disposition, can you see it looks like we've got more Carthage units left than the enemy have got Roman units left, if you look in general over the battlefield there. I think Vidar's general's still alive there. Spitfyr moving that cavalry unit around, smashing into the rear and flank of enemy troops. He's done really well there. So I think that's Vidar's general has just been routed. That's good news for us. So that's taken the general morale bonus away there. And I think it's only Lando's general there. Oh my gosh, as one of our Carthage generals just been taken out. I think that might have been Fesen's general, possibly, has just been taken out there. That's another Scipio. We've just routed Lando's general as well. So that's good news for us. Just killed him as well, so he's dead. So that's good news for us. And the Julii general's dead as well. So I don't think they've got any general morale bonus left whatsoever. And you can see those units, those red Julii units of Vidar coming in. You've got these SBQR units here as well. There you can see those Julii units of Vidar there coming in. And it looks to me at this stage that our team, our Carthaginian team, may well have gone on to win this battle there. You can see a heck of a lot of enemy troops have been routed now. Yeah, it looks like we've managed to go on to win the battle there. But you can, if you look at the units, you can see, can't you, how battle depleted they are. I mean, all our units from all over the place. I mean, we're all battle depleted. There's my little clump of Carthaginians left. They're just going to attack that Scipio unit who's just routed there. So there you are. You can see that the battlefield there. There's my my units there. If you move over here, that you can see there you can see the dead there. Looks like SBQR and Carthage. That's where Spitfyr was facing Mantu's army there. So you can see how intense the fighting was there. If we move across here, that you can see this is where the enemy cavalry got in behind us there. And luckily we caused them a lot of casualties as well. You can see how many dead were there. As we move across this line here, see a lot of dead cavalry as well as infantry there. Over here you can see the really intense fighting. Always you can tell where the most intense part of the battle is by the massive piles of dead. And if you look over here, Julii cavalry, I mean, oh my gosh, just look at that. You can see how intense the fighting was in this particular part of the battlefield by just the sheer volume of dead. I think that's where I was holding the salient, wasn't it there? I think that's where I caused the salient there. You can see the dead there, oh my gosh. And here you can see a Fesen just chasing down the last of the enemy troops. But for a 4v4, I think it's quite a condensed battlefield, really, isn't it? I think for a large 4v4 battle there. And there's Romex. I think that's the only unit he's got left with 6 men in. That's the only unit that Romex has got left there. So well done. He's still got a unit left, bearing in mind he was kind of really smashed and crashed, wasn't he? And you'll notice, as I say, if you just look at the units that we've got left, all very battle depleted, all of us. If you have a look at my units here, you can see there, 9 men in that unit, 7 men in that unit, out of those two, 10 men in that unit, 19 in that one, 25, that seemed 5 in that unit, look, what's that, 8? The general's still okay, and what's that, 7 men at you. So you can see how battle depleted my units were from just holding there. As I say, because I was defensive all the way through the battle, I'd be surprised if I got more than 1,000 kills. I would think I got very low kills there. You still see a couple of enemy units left there, but I'm not going to chase after them. I think my men have done enough today, I think, and they're so battle depleted now. And it's just a couple of, I think, Vidar's units. Let's go on to triple speed. Probably going to, they already admitted defeat there, so. The first thing I'd like to say is really well played to everybody in the game. I thought everybody played well. Really well played, guys. I think everybody did well. And I was very surprised it was an average victory. Would you have thought it would have been close? Maybe we might. Obviously, we've just edged into average there. Highest kills in the game goes to Brotherhood member Spitfyr. Nice kills there for him with Carthage. So well done. He did really well on that left flank. So really well done to him. Well done to Tabor. Look at the kills. He got really good kills there. I bet a lot of his kills were archers. Well done to Lando. Very aggressive as always. Second highest kills in the game. So well done to Lando. Well done to Vidar. Just got over 1,000 kills there. So well done to him. And well done to Mantu. Got a lot of kills as well. So really well played, guys. Great battle. Let's say Spitfyr highest kills in the game. Romex, he did well. Now, bearing in mind, he got smashed and crashed there, mind. I thought he got some really good kills. Well done to Fesen, really good kills as well. And as I say, I just managed to get over 1,000 kills there. But because I was kind of the anchor of the team and defensive, you don't get many kills for being defensive. RTW rewards attack in play there. So, yeah, not too bad, really, there. So quite interesting. And just to show you how close this battle was, so we had the highest kills, but they had the second, third and fourth highest kills. So that's why it surprises me it's not a close battle. So okay, we got the highest kills, but they got the second, third and fourth highest kills in the game. So as I say, I was very surprised it wasn't you know, a close victory there. And what did you think of a themed battle then? Is there any other kind of faction versus faction you'd like to see? Like, so this was obviously Carthage against Rome. Would you like to see Macedon against Rome or something like that? Please leave your thoughts in the comments. You know, it's always interesting to read what you think about our battles, and see you soon.